Hello everybody, my name's Melissa and welcome back to my channel, Hopeful Happenings. Today we're talking about 5 games that you can play to spark creativity, inspired by Disney Imagineers. But first, I have an announcement. I am going to be a panel speaker at the Writing Community Convention in Houston. It's not until 2021. But you can sign up for the waiting list right now, and I'll have the link for that down below. At this convention, I will be talking about AuthorTube with a couple other AuthorTubers, some of which have been revealed already, including Katie Wilson, Jenna Streety, and Evie Driver. After the panel, we'll also have a meet and greet, so you guys can come up and talk to us, and that will be so exciting. For further information on this event, you can go to their website, which I'll also have linked down below, and you can also follow the hashtag RYCOMCon2021 for more details. I'm so excited for this. I really hope I can see you there. Okay, so I wanted to talk about some writing games that you can play. Games to spark creativity. Come up with new ideas, new storylines, anything. Most of these games are directly coming from this book right here. It's called The Imagineering Workout, and it's by the Disney Imagineers. I love this book. I had so much fun reading it, and it's kind of a workbook that's filled with different activities. So I picked a couple that I loved, and I combined them with some techniques I've already used myself. The first activity that you can do to spark creativity is to create a storyboard. You can do this on a cork board, or if you're limited on space, you can use a notebook, you can use a poster, anything that you can just put pictures on. Then go through all of your magazines, books, photographs. You can also put other things on there like candy or fabric or toys. This is your storyboard. You can do whatever you want. Don't forget to include written work too, like poems, song lyrics, inspirational quotes. The more variety that you have on your board, the better. And the purpose is just to put things on this storyboard that express who you are, the things that you like, the things maybe that you don't like. Everything that speaks to you, stick it on the board. And then once you're done putting all of these images and objects on your storyboard, you are going to put this storyboard in a place that you will see it often. This collage is meant to inspire you and help stimulate different ideas in your head. So put it maybe above your computer or in your bedroom, somewhere where you can see it on the daily. And keep in mind, this collage or storyboard does not have to be done. When you have it up there, it is a living thing that you are going to take things away when they're no longer of interest to you. You're going to add things when they become interesting to you. This is how you can garner new ideas as time goes on. Number 2, our second game is what the Disney Imagineers like to call the idea mixer. It's an easy format that helps you combine ideas that you would not have normally thought to combine. You're going to need 2 sheets of paper. On one paper, you will list all of the things in one category. The example that they used was rides in Disneyland. They just made a list of all of these rides. You could do food, you could do tropics, you could do the Arctic, you could do sorcery. Then on your other piece of paper, you're going to make the exact same list, essentially having 2 of the same list. Now put the list side by side and move the paper up and down to create different combinations. The example that they put in the book was an Indiana Jones ride and a Peter Pan ride combined. And once you have your combination, start exploring and expanding it. Why would these 2 things be a really great combination? Why would they be a bad combination? This game can also be done with visuals. So instead of writing out Indiana Jones and Peter Pan, you could draw a picture of a hat or a picture of fairy dust and make combinations with visuals instead of words. Okay, number 3. Our next game is all about opposites. Now before I go on, I want to remind you that when you're brainstorming, it's important to tell yourself and anyone else involved that there are no bad ideas. Nothing is too weird or too crazy for a brainstorming session. The weirder you can get, the more creative you can be, or the more your body will just allow itself to break down the walls of what it typically thinks and just think outside the box. So with our third game, make a list of a bunch of objects that are related to your project. Then I want you to pick one and then pick something that is the complete opposite of that object. One of the examples that they use in the book is the first object they had was a boat, and then something completely random and opposite, and also pick the first thing that comes to your mind, don't dwell on it for too long, was they picked the polka dance. So what do ships and the polka have in common? That's your next task, is to create a series of questions that are relating both of these things together. For example, a question you might have would be, what does the boat sound like? Like the boat might actually sound like the polka. Another example that they had was a tree, and then the complete opposite thing that they thought of right on the spot was Swedish meatballs. So how do Swedish meatballs and a tree have anything in common? Well, let's say the tree grew the Swedish meatballs, and well, then one of the questions I could ask is, what does a tree that grows Swedish meatballs smell like? Or what does the Swedish meatballs seed look like? Anything to combine the two ideas together. And once you've done that, build a scenario using this information. And don't forget, nothing is too weird. The fourth game that I have is very similar to the third game, except this time you're going to do it with a partner. You make a list of a bunch of things, and your partner will also make a list. You don't get to see each other's lists until you're done. Then you're going to combine your ideas. So I could say, let's do idea number 5. So on my list, the 5th idea I had was an elephant. And on the partner's list, the 5th idea was a mousetrap. Now our task separately would be to write a sentence that uses both the mousetrap and the elephant in the sentence. And as soon as you're done, you share your ideas. This is actually a really fun game to play. I've done this on a date with my husband. We just threw out a bunch of ideas and made different wacky sentences with them. And actually, one of the ideas that we had together was an inspiration for my young adult novel. Okay, number 5. Our last game is something that you can do with others as well. It actually works really well with children, so if you have kids, then you can do this with them. Or if you're a teacher, you can do this with your students. But honestly, anyone can contribute. So gather your audience and then ask them to come up with 3 unrelated things that you have to put into your story. Then you are just gonna go with it and create the story on the spot. This is why it works really well with kids, because you can just ask your child to give you 3 unrelated things and then make a bedtime story using those 3 things. It's probably gonna be a gong show story, but hey, when you're brainstorming, nothing is too weird, nothing is too crazy. There are no bad ideas. You'd actually be surprised that as you just speak out loud a story, your brain is pretty good at making connections on its own. And the more receptive you are to the weird connections that your brain is making, the better and more creative the stories will be. Now, if you don't have an audience or you're super shy and would never want to do this, you can do this game by yourself. If you just randomly generate 3 ideas and then write it out on a piece of paper. But the key would be that you write and do not stop, do not reread, just go with the flow. Okay, there you have it, guys. Those are 5 games that you can play to inspire yourself, to have creative thoughts, and they're all from Disney Imagineers. Once again, I will have this book linked down below too, so you can go check it out because it is a really cool book. I highly recommend it. And I hope you will play these games and let me know how it goes if you do. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, welcome. I hope you'll subscribe on your way out. I post once a week on YouTube, and I post daily on Instagram, sharing more writing tips and connecting you with the writing community and sharing a little bit about my own writing journey. I'll see you next week. Bye.